everyone. Happy Easter. I know that you're probably going to be stuck doing Easter at home with your families this quarantine because of the situation that we find ourselves in. So I brought a member of my family, Alex.
Hi, guys.
To help me as I talk to you a little bit about Easter. We're going to do 2 experiments that you can do at home with materials you have from home to help us understand a little bit more about Easter and Jesus and what that looks like for us. So we're going to start with looking at Palm Sunday because that's really the beginning of our Easter journey. And I'm going to start by reading our Palm Sunday verses to you. It starts in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 1. As Jesus and his disciples approached Jerusalem and they came to the town of Bethphage on the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 of them on ahead. Go into the village over there, he said. As soon as you enter it, you will see a donkey tied there with its colt beside it. Untie them and bring them to me. And then it continues with verse 7. The disciples did as Jesus commanded. They brought the donkey and the colt to him, and they threw their garments over the colt, and he sat on it. Most of the crowd spread their garments on the road ahead of him, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them to the road. Jesus was in the center of the procession, and all the people around him were shouting, "Praise God for the Son of David! Blessings on the one who comes in the name of the Lord! Praise God in the highest!" So all of these people had gathered to see Jesus because they were attracted to Jesus because everything that Jesus was doing was fascinating. So this first experiment that we're going to do is going to talk a little bit about attraction. Now, in order to do it, you need a PVC pipe, an empty can, and a dry washcloth. I'm going to have Alex rub our washcloth up and down our PVC pipe.
You need to make sure you can hear the static electricity, so you need to do it hard enough and slow pace.
Right, so you're going to do it for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to lay our can down and watch what happens when Alex moves his pipe over. The can is instantly attracted to the static electricity, and it moves as it moves in all directions. Now Alex is going to give it some more static, and he's going to try to move the can in a direction that he wants it to go. And you can see that the can tries to move itself in the direction of the PVC pipe. But while all of this is fascinating, we have to ask the question, so what? What does this mean? Alex, can you enlighten us? How does this experiment relate to how we are with Jesus?
Well, I think this is technically us, and this is Jesus, and it's pulling us to him, telling us more about him, and showing that we're attracted to him a lot more.
That's good. We are attracted to Jesus. And what is pulling us towards Jesus is our faith, right? Is our faith and what we've been taught and knowing that Jesus has come to save us. That's what's pulling us towards knowing Jesus. And what happens when Jesus pours his love into us? We go closer to Jesus, and that enables us to pull others with us, right? To pull our family and our friends and our loved ones. It enables us to pour Jesus' love into others and guide them toward Jesus. Now, our second experiment that we're going to do is a little bit easier, and it involves some simple Easter things. I'm sure all of you have these, right? Eggs. We make them for Easter, right? Well, I don't know if you know this, and Alex, I don't know if you know this either, but 2 of these eggs are hard-boiled, and 2 of them are raw.
So I'm just going to have to guess?
Well, listen. Okay. So, there are 4 eggs here, and I want you to look at these eggs and try to tell me, without cracking them, without doing anything with them, can you tell which ones are hard-boiled and which ones are not?
I'm kind of guessing these ones because these ones are more like, these ones are hard boiled because they're more like, they don't, see, these ones have like wet spots all over them, so I think these ones are hard boiled.
Well, they're all came from the refrigerator, so.
I can't really tell, but I'm thinking these ones are hard boiled.
Okay, so on the outside they look like 2 eggs, right? They just look like 2 eggs. We don't really know. Well, here's a fun science fact for you. Because hard-boiled eggs have a strong, firm center, they roll when you try to spin them. Raw eggs don't have a balanced center and will wobble when you try to spin them. So, Alex, why don't you try to spin some of the eggs and see?
Okay.
And try to spin another one.
Oh, okay, so these
Okay, so why don't you try those now?
Okay.
Why don't you try spinning them from the top? Okay, and try another one. Is that one probably raw?
Yeah, because it won't even spin on this top. It just falls.
Okay, so I'm sure you've all heard the story of Doubting Thomas, right? He comes to us after the resurrection, and he was someone who needed to see Jesus' wounds, right? His story is found in John 21, and he needed to see Jesus' wounds to believe. But we come to Easter knowing the end of the story, and yet we still believe. So, we're believing in something we don't see. So, Alex, why don't you now pick 2 eggs to crack and see if you were correct? Which one do you think is raw?
These ones are raw.
You think those are raw. Why don't you crack one and see if you're right?
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Yep.
Alright, so that one was raw.
Show.
Alright, let's see if the other one that he got correct is raw. Oh, so they were both raw.
That's my eggshell.
So, that means these last 2 are hard-boiled, right? So what we demonstrated here was an act of faith, and was our act of faith. Because we come to Easter like these eggs, right? And we come to Jesus kind of like that. We didn't see the resurrection. We didn't witness Jesus' resurrection firsthand. But we believe it. And we have the faith that Jesus has saved us, and that Jesus has saved us again and again and again. And that's why when we celebrate Easter, we celebrate that resurrection. And we don't need to crack eggs to believe that. We don't need to see the resurrection. We don't need to have firsthand knowledge to believe that Jesus has saved us. And so Jesus' resurrection is a real part of our faith. And even though we're stuck inside our houses on this Easter, and even though we can't all gather together in church to celebrate Jesus, we can have the faith to know that Jesus has saved us, that Jesus was resurrected, and Jesus did come to save us. And so I hope that as you celebrate Easter with your families, maybe you'll try these experiments. Maybe you'll talk about how we can be attracted to Jesus, how we can use the love that Jesus gave us by saving us to help attract others to Jesus. And maybe you can also ask how our faith, how we can believe in something that we couldn't see, and how we can share that faith with others. So happy Easter. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a great day with your family.
Goodbye.